Hey guys, Scott Reekers here with Eastmans Hunting Journals, and today I want to review on our YouTube channel the new Mysterium series from Mystery Ranch. Mystery Ranch has built this as a series that literally has an option for everyone, and you'll see there's a little bit of dirt on these. We've gotten them out and we've tested them a little bit, and we're going to do a little bit more product testing because I want to show some fit because we've got some different variety of sizing here. But first thing that I want to talk about is the different models and how I would use some of them in the first place to show that this is a series that is for everyone. First one is, of this series, is kind of my personal favorite that I went to this year. This is called the Sawtooth 45. And I actually used it on some of my whitetail hunting excursions this year because it was a day pack, but I had some property that I had access to, but it was walk-in only. So that would turn into about a half-mile walk to my first trail camera, as well as where I ended up putting my first set of tree stands. So what I did is I packed this pack full of the different saws and clippers because I didn't want them rattling around. I wanted to go in, wanted to be quiet, wanted to be stealth, and all the strap options allowed me to do that quietly. And so that was a great opportunity to use the Sawtooth 45. So next we have the Sawtooth 65. Personally, this is a pack that I could use, say, for a 3-day adventure. Any more than that, it would get to be a little bit on the smaller side, but I could definitely do 3 days, like a 3-day mule deer scouting trip. I've done a lot of hunts like that and a lot of scouting like that, where it's just, you want to go in and you want to go quickly and you want to be light. Next up, we have the Beartooth 85, which you could definitely get 4 days plus, probably out to a week if you really wanted to. And that's what I would probably use that pack for. The next is the Marshall 105. That one is the big dog. That's the one that you're gonna call an expedition level. If I were to be shooting for a 7-day plus trip, which I've only done a few of those, I'll be 100% honest. You guys that like to do that with the sheep hunting, that do that up north, guides are really going to like that, the ones that use that up north. So I don't want to pigeonhole it to just those people, but if you like to bring in a lot of creature comforts, that pack is also for you on a shorter adventure. So literally you have features for everyone, for every style of hunting, literally every way that you can do this. Now, also want to say this, they have a women's line available on each of these packs. So my wife has liked Mystery Ranch packs in the past, and so this would be a series that I would look at for her as an option to be able to use. They shape their harnesses a little bit different because a woman's anatomy is different than a man's, and so they shape that different for their comfort. So literally, the Mysterium series has an option for everyone. Next up, what I want to talk about is on the belt, the harness, the yoke, all of it breathes very well. You can take a look at the padding and you can see that it is vented. That's nice because, guys, I sweat a lot, especially when I'm packing in. Some of the September season, some of the August scouting trips, they're very, very warm. And having that venting that allows all of the scent to leave, to dissipate, all of your sweat to dissipate, that is a very great thing to have. And so I would encourage you, if you sweat a lot, this is a great pack system to take a look at. The frame is the guide light frame. In the past, I remember history where there was the nice frame from Mystery Ranch, and the predecessor even to that was an old military style called the Alice frame that evolved and turned into, Dana Gleason's idea for the nice frame, a modular frame that you could put many different packs on. You could change change what you had depending on what your mission was. Well, one of the problems that you had with that frame was that the expedition style had plenty of load lift. It fit on top of the frame and you got good load lift. But when you separated and used the load shelf technology that Mystery Ranch had, you lost some of that. So Mystery Ranch's answer was this new guide light frame that allowed you to get the functional shoulder lift, transfer that weight. And so the load shelf also, which is patented by Mystery Ranch, that load shelf allows you to carry meat up high, and one addition on this Mysterium series is straps across the guide light frame because it'll hold that meat in place. You can put heavy objects right on your back, hold it in place, and so they're not going to be sinking down, because that's one of the things that's really annoying is when you have a lot of meat on your back and it starts just sliding down over time. This prevents that with the guide light series on the frame. So the Mysterium paired with the guide light series gives you great load carriage. You're able to carry heavy weight, and typical to Mystery Ranch, typical to what they've built, you will not have any issues with things breaking. This is a well-built pack. Mystery Ranch has been known for that throughout their lifetime. You won't be testing the warranty service on this because you will break before the pack does, most likely. Been there, done that, done some heavy pack outs. One of the other main features you'll notice on this series from Mystery Ranch is the Robic Kodra Ripstop material. Talk about a mouthful, but if it's got a big name, that usually means there's a reason for it. It does something very specific. Well, if you look, you will see where all of this material is placed on these Mystery Ranch bags, and it's in all the areas where you are likely to get water. In the past, there's materials that would do something called wetting out. The Kodra can wet out over time when you're in, say, a rainstorm. Well, this removes the need for carrying a pack cover, that, a waterproof pack cover. This keeps the areas where you're most likely to wet out from even getting wet, because you're going to have water that's just going to fall right off this, and that is a great feature. One of the questions that usually gets asked as soon as you start going towards waterproof or more water resistant materials is, how is it for noise? Well, I'm going to be honest, I think the noise factor is negligible compared to the rest of the pack. Just to be, just from passing the ear test with me, no, I did not go measure decibels or anything like that, but you wear a pack around, you hear where it makes noise, you hear where squeaks are, and I did not feel like there was any more noise than normal when wearing a pack, which that in and of itself is a big deal, especially for bow hunters. This isn't a super noisy pack in my experience with it. And again, I wore it into places where we wanted to be quiet, where we were going in and did not want to disturb movement, disturb animals, and so quiet was the emphasis. So that is one of the major features. You're going to drain off the water, your pack is not going to wet out. One other feature related to weather resistance is this Kodra has a 330 HD 5 PM coating. Now, that is going to stop this from what I talked about earlier with that wetting out issue. That is going to help stop that. I wouldn't call this 100% waterproof, and I don't think Mystery Ranch would want me to be telling all of you that this is waterproof, but it is going to be much more resistant to water than yesteryear's Kodra. Kodra is a fantastic material. It is tough. You can get a lot of different coatings on it, but it is not waterproof. But technology has improved drastically the last few years, and this new coating that Mystery Ranch has had applied to this Kodra is going to make a big difference in stopping this from getting your gear inside wet. Next feature that I want to talk about on these packs is the horseshoe style zipper that is featured here, and it's really nice because I like the panel style, which this is Mystery Ranch's take on the panel style of loader. You can adjust your zipper and you can open from the sides, which is really nice. I like that because if you've ever been backpacking or going on a scouting trip and you need to quick access your spotting scope, I typically like to have my spotting scope inside the bag. It's a big investment, and so having it inside the bag protects it. And with that in mind, a side zip of some type works really well. In fact, one of my favorite packs for that that's not featured here is the Metcalf. The Metcalf sold me on the side zip design years and years and years ago, and I loved having that option. And the panel loader gives that, and that is on all of these options right here. The Marshall 105 has the side zip option, which is a great feature. One of the things that is great is being able to feel like you get options to pick with your colors. I like this sleek coyote and green option that's there, but you can also see if you are in rocky country, I would love this scheme. But if you're a guy who really likes camo and likes to take camo on your hunts, there's an Optifade option as well from Mystery Ranch, which Optifade and Mystery Ranch have partnered for a really long time, so that looks really good. I like that combination of the Optifade as well as that coyote brown. I really like that look. It's a cool, sleek look. If you believe in the equipment, you will hunt better because you believe and you have confidence in what you've brought to the field with you. The next step that we are going to take is I'm going to ask my friend, Brett. He is one of our cameramen here at Eastmans, but he has a much different build than I do, and I want to show just how easy it is to modify the yoke and the frame and be able to get this to fit Brett perfectly so that he can have a comfortable hike. And then we are going to actually take these packs out and do a short hike and really test out the weight. Brandon got us some weighted sandbags so we can show what it looks like when you're putting that weight in the center, and we're going to take these packs out for a hike underweight. All right, guys, I am joined by my friend Brett. He came along on a couple of my hunts this last fall as a camera guy. He did a great job. It was a lot of fun to have in camp. And so as you can see, I wanted to contrast with Mystery Ranch with this Mysterium series. This is a series where they literally have options for everyone. I'm 6'5". I'm a big dude. Brett is not. And so you can't get much different than that. I'm not picking on Brett. I just want to show that this short guys. I just want to let everybody know that literally there is a pack option for anyone inside this series. And so we're going to fit Brett for a pack. We've got the right setup with the Sawtooth 65. And so we're going to start by setting this up. You can see that this yoke here, if you've been familiar with Mystery Ranch packs, you know that this comes out. You can adjust the yoke, break that Velcro in there, loosen this up, get it to the height that you want. And this is set up for somebody who's a little taller than Brett would be. So I'm going to move this down, and you can see there's markers here inside the foam that give you the height adjustment. So we're going to try right about there for Brett. Might be a little short for him with that, but we're going to pull this back out. Let him try that, and I'll let him adjust the belt. So Brett, if you'll step forward, let's see how this fits. You might have to adjust that shoulder harness a little bit too, but that's easier to do when it's on you. Okay. Yep, belt first. That yoke around your shoulders look pretty good. Might have to tighten it up a little bit, but let's also adjust that. Everybody asks about the angle. I like it where the angle goes almost straight into the shoulder. And so we might lower this a little bit. It looks a little high on your hips, but that's a general overview. Mystery Ranch with this full belt style, you're gonna want that to go down a little bit lower. Some other belts, you want them right on the top, like the center of the belt, right on the top of your hips. Mystery Ranch, you want it a little bit lower. So let's adjust that real quick. That's probably about right. That is really cool that they added those markers a few years back, because it used to be tough. You couldn't tell. So I knew guys that used pins to do it. Like they'd put a pin mark on it on where they wanted it, because if they loaned it to somebody. So, all right, let's try it. All right, what do you think?
That feels pretty good, actually.
Let's go take a hike. Thanks for coming along on this gear review from Eastmans of the Mystery Ranch Mysterium series, and make sure you hit the like and subscribe button to get more gear reviews sent to your inbox just like this one.